We're back for live coverage of the Apex Gaming $5,000 Modern Open here on Sunday of Apex Con. I'm Tandy, joined by Ross Merriam. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
We got 4 players left in the event. Ross, give us a rundown of those 4 players and the decks they'll be lined up here for the semifinals.
So our backup match is going to be Tyler Andrews on Jeskai Control against Brendan Lane on Demir Control. Nice little control mirror. That said, the Demir deck does have some cheap threats it can deploy to become the aggressor in the matchup in Orcish Bowmasters and Psychic Frog. So that could be a tricky matchup for Jeskai, but they also have a good amount of spot removal. The key is going to be lining up good removal against the Frog. Because if you have red removal against Psychic Frog, we've seen that look very awkward all weekend. So if Andrews can contain the Hypnotoad, then he should be in much better shape. But we will be starting with, as a main feature match, Ryan Hayes, our #1 overall seed, has lost 1 match on the weekend with his build of Jeskai Control. Going to be playing against Josh Engel, who we just saw at the end of the quarterfinals, on the Gruul Eldrazi Through the Breach deck. So a very different kind of matchup for Ryan Hayes. We've mostly seen him tear through the energy decks, a lot of creature decks. Now going to have to be playing against a much bigger strategy, more powerful strategy, more of a combo deck where his counter spells are going to be more important. 2 main deck Force and Negations, 4 main deck counter spells, and 3 consigned to memory in the sideboard. That's where he's going to have to lean in this matchup as opposed to just playing removal spells into Flage.
All right, well, the players are ready to play the top 4, so let's head on down to the feature match area and watch these 2 Titans battle it out. On your left, Ryan Hayes on Jeskai Control. On your right,
Josh Engel.
Josh Engel playing that powerful Gruul Eldrazi strategy. We've seen both these players quite a bit here on the Apex series. Ryan, a superstar here in #1. He's in first place in the Swiss today, so he will be on the play. Went undefeated in both Swiss portions in our 2 Modern Opens, both with Jeskai Control. Engel also going to take a mulligan.
He's already done better in the elimination rounds than he did yesterday.
That's true.
He's taken out in quick fashion by Jacob Fumich and Espergorio's Vengeance, and now...
Was it Fumich or was it Franklin?
It was one of them.
Yeah.
I think it was Fumich.
Franklin Folks and Fumich both played Espergorios yesterday, and one of them beat him.
Yeah. And this is a key match to win if you're Ryan Hayes. The winners of these matches making it into the finals will qualify for the upcoming regional championship as well as our Apex Invitational this coming November.
Yeah, the champion will also receive their fair share of $5,000 as well as this Beseju Full Art playmat. All the AIQ champions get one. They're the talk of the town, Ross.
If you want one yourself, head on over to apexgaming.gg and check out where AIQs are happening near you, because it's not just the AIQs that are here in Caldwell, Ohio that give those out. It's every AIQ this season.
All right, Hayes with a really weak opener, but looks like we're going to keep the 6.
Has a ring and a couple counter spells, but I think his mana's awkward.
Yeah, Arena of Glory and Island. All right.
But on 6 cards, he's going to keep.
Any pregame effects from Engel? No.
I think there's a Wrath of the Skies that Ryan kept as well. Wonder what was the card he put on the bottom is worse than Wrath.
Maybe the Galvanic. I'm not sure. Here's Ancient Stirrings from Engel. Just an Island from Hayes. Take a look at the top 5. Put a colorless card from them into your hand. Ancient Stirrings used to be a lot worse, and then they just started making 3 and 4 man Eldrazi all over the place that were colorless, and it got a lot better.
Goes for a copy of the 1 ring off the Ancient Stirrings. That's going to be very powerful in a control matchup. Ooh, Lorien revealed the draw for Ryan, so that'll be a solid one. I'll get him a second blue source for those counter spells.
Yeah, Meticulous Archive likely coming in so that we can surveil as well, because we don't have anything to do with that 1 blue mana.
If he doesn't care about white mana, he could also go for a Thundering Falls to ensure that the arena enters untapped, but no, wants white mana instead. Doesn't really need the 3rd mana, so if he plays the arena tap next turn, still has counterspell mana available.
All right, top card for Hayes. We see Black Sleeve. We're going to keep it. Nope.
No.
Graveyard. Tune the narrative. It's out of here. Back to Engel. Turn number 2. What you got?
all Tune is going to do is draw the card that you would now draw. So it's basically a decision of, do you want to spend a mana to get 2 energy? And in this matchup where Wrath of the Skies isn't that important, that's not a trade Ryan wants to make.
Sacred Foundry, the pickup for Hayes that will make the Arena of Glory enter untapped at some point, so that's a nice one. We're going to play it tap, though, since we don't have much to do with that mana. Engel now hits 4 mana here off the Eldrazi Temple, and that Thought-Knot Seer is going to come down, but meets Counterspell. Bloody Strands, the pickup for Hayes, going to go ahead and play it Engel's way. Let's see if he has something to do here. Oh, just pass the turn. Nothing to do. Definitely don't have Kozilek's Command. Thundering Falls, the find for Hayes off the Flooded Strand.
And now Ryan Hayes' mana base is perfect. Just needs to find a little bit of gas.
Well, we already got the ring lined up, so.
Yeah, this really just needs to get up to land 6 so we can play a ring and hold up another counter spell. And has land 5 with that Arena, 1 short. Could also find a Force of Negation that would allow Ryan Hayes to tap out. Instead draws a Scalding Tarn. So next turn will be the turn for Ryan to deploy that ring. So really, he's just hoping that there's nothing too powerful on this turn for Engel. But it looks like he's setting up for something pretty good with this end-step Kozilek's Command.
Either something pretty good or 2 things that are something pretty good.
Yeah, we can get to, 8 or 9-ish mana, depending upon how the Eldrazi temples work out this next turn. So could go for something like Thought-Knot Seer into the 1 ring. We know Engel.
Seer into Through the Breach.
Yeah, we know Engel has a ring in hand from that early Ancient Stirrings, and Ryan will know that too. So going to be hard to bait the counter spell with anything worse.
Kozilek's Command, such an excellent card from Modern Horizons 3, works nicely with those Eldrazi-based lands. Eldrazi Temple also works nicely with Ugin's Labyrinth, just because it's a big burst of colorless mana, and it's a great outlet for it. Can make more mana or dig for something you need. We also see it exile things like Psychic Frog, Ajani, all the time out of these decks. So a colorless piece of interaction that's just so versatile and works so well with the colorless lands.
Yes, definitely one of the more unheralded cards during preview season that has proven to be quite strong. Okay, Ancient Stirrings is looking at, I think, another 1 ring, an Emrakul, Stirrings that can't be selected. Okay, Engel goes for a 2nd copy of the 1 ring. If he has an Ugin's Labyrinth with a 7-drop, he could threaten to play both this turn, but instead just has a land and a pass, trying to set up for double ring next turn.
Yeah, double ring next turn. Could also end up turn Through the Breach, untap, do some serious damage. Could also end up turn Kozilek's Command and just continue setting up and making more tokens. And all the while, Ryan, while he's hitting land drops, is falling further and further behind in terms of raw power.
Ryan knows about both rings in Engel's hand, so going to be a choice for whether or not he wants to deploy his own ring this turn and go down to 1 piece of counter magic.
Honestly, Ryan might just say your ring is fine, and then he just tries to beat all the stuff off the ring. I don't know, man.
That's hard to do.
I agree. This is what we say, a rock in a hard place.
Draws a Tune the Narrative for turn, so the ideal sequence here for Ryan is to play ring and then draw into Force of Negation, but instead just going to exile all of these, or destroy all these Scions. That'll cut off Engel's mana.
Yeah, we will gain 1 energy. And now with that 3 mana floating, Engel can play something here after the Wrath is resolved. It looks like we're going to go for another Kozilek's Command this time for 6.
Yeah, looks like 6. So, yeah, that Wrath of the Sky is really not very effective, since the Eldrazi Scion still got to make mana, and useful mana at that.
Yeah, I think if you're Ryan, you just gotta throw a counterspell at this, man. I don't know. It's tough.
I mean, a ring is going to resolve regardless, since you know Engel has 2, so it does make some sense to counter this.
Yeah, 6 mana is just so much. I think just there are more combinations of things that can go wrong if you leave this, and Ryan agrees. We're gonna take it out. Maybe we can tune the narrative into a Force Negation, worst case scenario. The actual worst case scenario is through the breach into Big Baddie here, eat your whole board.
Yes, losing the game would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I think we'll just see a ring from Engel. Now, even if haste hits Force of Negation, having to use Counterspell to cast Force of Negation is rough in this matchup. You'd much rather be exiling something like Tune the Narrative or even Subtlety.
Alright, we're going to gain some energy and draw a card. And now it's going to be dueling the One Rings. Everybody boos.
Do they have to boo twice?
No one booed the first time, so no one has to do anything.
Okay, finds Flooded Strand and Galvanic Discharge. Does Ryan Hayes off his draw step and card from the ring.
One deck with the One Ring is drawing Eldrazi's. And another deck with the One Ring is drawing Tune the Narrative. I think that the Eldrazi one is going to win.
And that's why they pay you the big bucks, Todd, for hard-hitting analysis like that.
You're welcome. Did he draw the Stone Brain? Is that in his main deck?
It is not.
What was that then?
That's an Emrakul.
Okay, it's going underneath the Ugin's Labyrinth though, so that means we're not getting hit with a Through the Breach necessarily. No way past turn. How much mana does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 or 9, depending on the temple.
Yeah.
I think there's another Emrakul in Engel's hand. Might be another Kozilek's command, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Multiple copies of the One Ring. Could have cycled them just to start drawing another card, but
Yeah.
seems
Now,
weak.
while you normally want to pass the turn when your opponent has counterspell mana available and make them use it on their own turn, with the One Ring in play, Engel would be better served going for a threat before Ryan can untap, I think, and see a bunch of fresh cards.
I'm gonna fetch Shock with Hallowed Fountain. No wonder what we're playing here.
I was going to say Cycle Spares Headquarters, but that land is already in play.
Yeah.
It's not enough mana for a Subtlety flash in.
Just Tune the Narrative
okay.
with 2 floating. Basically just bluffing
Oh yeah,
a counterspell.
hard bluffing that counterspell. Ryan wants to get to untap and draw with the One Ring. I love it. Finds a Galvanic Discharge, so that's not good. There's a Flage and a counterspell, so
Okay, we're starting to cook.
we got something going. It can cast the Flage this turn and then escape it next turn with the Arena. That'll put Engel to 4.
God, that's such massive closing speed. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. Arena really so powerful with Flage and makes Flage look that much better. I really didn't need the help, Todd.
No, it didn't.
Is it 8 mana for Ryan here? So just barely not enough to cast Flage, escape Flage, and counterspell. Yep.
Zap ya. 3 to the face.
So Engel's going to go to 14 on his next turn from the One Ring. Flage can put him to 2, and then he'd die to the ring on his next upkeep. So
Wow, and no play on the end step for Engel, so didn't have anything.
Drew through the breach for turn, though, so there's going to be some fireworks. That through the breach will get countered. Does Engel have another threat to present?
Alright, plays a land, but it's not a 2-mana land like another Ugin's Labyrinth, so I think he's only got access to 9. So can't play double through the breach. Three mana. Thought-Knot Seer's 4 mana.
So that will meet the counter spell. And then Engel will have through the breach resolve against the hand of double Galvanic Discharge.
Well, we just let it resolve, and then we try to draw another answer off of the killing of the Thought-Knot Seer. I think that's the move.
Makes sense.
Okay. Through the breach. In response, kill your Thought-Knot. We go -1 energy because we gain 3, -4. We draw a card. Okay.
Yeah, the counterspell should be exile, I guess, but it does not matter.
Oh, it's a spell there. Brutal.
He drew a counterspell.
Yep. And here is the big Eldrazi. This is Ulamog the Defiled. It's going to have Annihilator 15. Don't think we're attacking for lethal, but we will sack 15 permanents. Ryan says it just picks it up.
It is 15 plus multiple one.
Oh, right.
Counters on it too.
Pardon me.
So it's a 22-22.
Is that big or small?
I don't know about you.
Look, in Yu-Gi-Oh, I think it's small. Right? But in Magic, it's pretty big.
It's quite big.
I don't know if I've seen a bigger creature anytime recently. All right, that's game number... Was that game number 1?
Yeah.
I'm losing track of time.
Ryan Hayes had multiple Galvanic Discharges in his deck. That was game 1.
Yeah. All right, well, as these players reach for their sideboard to get some help, I'm going to lean over the table and ask my main man, Ross, give me your expert analysis. How does Ryan Hayes compensate for these big old Drawsies? What's he supposed to do out of the sideboard?
Well, we've been seeing Ryan board in these Celestial Purges, Soul Guide Lanterns, and Supreme Verdicts against all the energy decks. He has 2 copies of each of those. Those are going to be staying in the sideboard for this matchup. Instead, he has 3 copies of Consigned to Memory, 3 copies of Obsidian Charmaw, and 1 copy of Invert Polarity to go along with 2 Drannith Magistrates that aren't very effective, but 7 very good ones to bring in. That is enough to board out all 4 Galvanic Discharges and 3 Wrath of the Skies.
Yeah, I think that one's probably calculated.
Leave in some Solitudes that could potentially answer something. Spell Snare also pretty weak in this matchup. It only counters Talisman of Impulse. So maybe Hayes wants to leave in some Wrath of the Skies to answer swarms of Eldrazi Scions from Kozilek's command, and instead board out the Spell Snares.
All right, on the other side of the thing, Josh Engel does have this Eldrazi deck. It's not a Karn sideboard, right? So he probably has some really awesome tools at his disposal.
Yeah, he's got some good ones as well. Has 3 copies of Veil of Summer and 2 copies of Defense Grid to help against all the counter spells from Ryan's Jeskai deck. Those 5 will certainly be coming in. He also has a Gemstone Caverns that will come in game 3 should we go to that. The rest of the sideboard, a lot weaker, has 3 Damping Matrix, 2 Disruptor Flute, 2 copies of the Stone Brain, and 2 Relic of Progenitus. I could talk myself into either Relic as a low opportunity cost way to stop Flages, and we've seen when the Jeskai deck doesn't have Flage, it doesn't have a lot of closing power, and so you have plenty of time.
It's literally just 2 Solitudes, right?
And 2 Subtlety. And when you have a lot of time and you are an Emrakul the Aeon's Torn deck, eventually you get to Emrakul them. So I could see Relic coming in and, less so the Stone Brain, but it serves a similar purpose in just answering Flages. That one could also take out the One Rings.
Are there any super duds in his main deck for the matchup, like spot removal or something like that?
2 copies of Dismember are certainly coming out. Everything else is pretty solid. It's 4 Devourer of Destiny, 4 Emrakul, 4 Thought-Knot-Seer, 3 Ulamog, 4 Ancient Stirrings, 4 Kozilek's Command, 4 Through the Breach, 4 Talisman, and 4 copies of the One Ring. So...
Dude, 2 Gemstone Caverns on the draw? That's Chad.
Yeah, it has 2 in the main, so maybe one of those comes out, and you just...
Why would those come out? You're on the draw.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He won game 1.
He won game 1. So, excuse me, that Gemstone Caverns, 3rd Gemstone Caverns will be coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but really the main deck is very lean, and it's very clean.
Classic Engel.
So that likely means, or at least means it's less likely that Relic comes in just because Engel doesn't have space for it, but he'll find space for the anti-counterspell cards, the Defense Grids and Veil of Summers.
All right, while the players continue to finish their sideboarding here for game number 2, I'd like to take this time to say thank you to the sponsors for this weekend's events. Thank you so much to Ultimate Guard. Ultimate Guard is the industry leader when it comes to TCG supplies, from the Boulder deck box to the Katana sleeves. They're the best, and check your LGS for Ultimate Guard products today. Ross, what do you got for me? What are you pointing at?
Well, I was going to let you finish the ad reads. I just wanted to subtly do it and not let the audience know at home, so you could...
But you know that doesn't work against me. If you start pointing at something, I can't think about what I'm doing anymore. Thanks to Ghost Energy. Ghost Energy keeps us hydrated and energized on these long tournament weekends. Thanks to SpiceRack.gg, brand new tournament software that we've been partnering with for the last few events. And lastly, thanks to Wings Etc. Grown Pub for giving us a nice place to head to as the lights dim in the Apex Hall. And
it's getting late. I don't know if we'll make it on time for Wings on a Sunday.
They close at 11, I think.
It's 9 o'clock. We'll see how long these matches go. We got a control mirror on the backup. That could go long. We might get a control mirror in the finals.
All right. Well, Ross has some important information for you at home, so let's listen up, chat.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure that everybody watching knows that our next Apex Con will be August 16th to the 18th. So if you're watching and thinking, I live close enough to Caldwell, Ohio, that I can make it out to one of these events and I want to see what all the fuss is about, and there's plenty of fuss. August 16th to the 18th is the next one.
100 people showed up today's event on a Sunday. I don't know that I've ever seen a 100-person event here on a Sunday.
Yeah, and you can find more information about the Apex series at apexgaming.gg, and also follow us at Apex Gaming MTG on Twitter.
I think you mean X.
I do not. I thought about saying X, and
then
I
you wanted
explicitly decided
And
not
then
to.
you wanted to gag a little.
Players have drawn their openers here for game 2.
Thank God. Game 1 in the books. Game 2 underway. Ryan Hayes on the play. Looks like both players are keeping. Ryan going to start off here with Steam Vents. Shocking, so probably going to play Tune the Narrative. Going to go back to Ingles Way. No pregame effects, so no Devourers to reveal. Eldrazi Temple is the first land. Passes the turn. Hayes with Tune the Narrative. Mystigates the pickup. I see an Obsidian Charmaw. Can't quite use it this turn, but we'll likely be able to use it on the next turn.
Love the Charmaws for these matchups. It's so nice to have your land destruction attached to a creature, so you're both disrupting your opponent and pressuring their life total at the same time.
Yep. Second land for Ingle and Talisman and a Spell Snare for Ryan Hayes, and we kept it in. We're on the full-on mana denial plan. Red Source. Do we have a Red Source? I don't think so. Bit of a bummer here. Hayes with just one mountain, and Obsidian Charmaw does cost red.
Yeah, his mana base has been very nice against Blood Moon all day with those basic islands and plains, and right now it is biting him.
Ingle here. Land number 3 is a land I've never seen before.
That is an Abstergo Entertainment. I was wondering if we were going to see this little one.
I don't believe you. That's just not a real name of a card. Go ahead. Read it. Put it on screen. Abstergo Entertainment. This is a card from...
It is a legendary Shimmering Grotto that can also return a historic card from your graveyard to your hand. So taps for colorless, 1 tap, add a mana of any color, 3 tap, exile it to return up to 1 target historic card from your graveyard to your hand, then exile all graveyards.
Ooh, exile all graveyard is kind of hot.
Yeah, it gives you a little graveyard hate, can rebuy a copy of the One Ring, can rebuy a copy of Emrakul or Ulamog if you have the Breach already lined up, and can get back a Talisman of Impulse, I guess, if you were so inclined.
All right, in a turn, we're going to Kozilek's command for X equals 2. We'll see if Hayes has anything to say about it. This would be a prime spot for something like Spell Pierce, but those don't live in Ryan Hayes' deck.
4 lands on the battlefield and only 1 red source. Ryan hasn't drawn a single fetch land.
Sounds like a bunch of baby whining to me, Ross.
He has, by my count, 16 red sources. It's a pretty good number.
Yeah, maybe you should have had 17.
It's a little... I will say it is a little bit light if you're trying to cast a 3-mana double red card.
Yeah.
I would prefer to be up near 18 for that.
Why don't we just play Stone Rain? That one's easier to cast.
Yeah, but Obsidian Charmaw is a 4/4 flyer.
Flies?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a dragon.
I literally never knew that card flew. I just thought it was just a 4/4 grounder. To me, Charmaw doesn't scream dragon. I don't know. Whatever.
I just want to see it get hasted with Arena of Glory.
I can't believe I didn't know it had flying. I didn't know it was a dragon. What's wrong with me?
His name is Charmaw.
Okay, that means it has fire breathing, but plenty of things have fire breathing that aren't dragons. All right, here's Defense Grid. That was going to be Spell Center. That's a good 2-drop to have in. Now Ross is going to look up every card that's fire breathing, and they're all going to be dragons, and I'm going to have freaking cake on my face, I guess. Defense Grid meets a Spell Snare, and now Ingle here can play something for 4 mana. That's Thought Not Seer. Going to sack one of the spawns. That's going to meet Counterspell. So Ryan's got a whole lot of answers. Now we need some pressure. We have a copy of the One Ring we can play.
Just kind of shrugs. Okay.
Drew Plains.
Please don't kill me.
Yeah. You got it, dude. Finds Counterspell.
Okay, so if Ryan gets to untap, he's in good shape.
Yeah. Could lose all his permanents, though. It's never a fun
Yeah.
time. Oh, I think it's there, too. I think that he has it. Will he go for it? Maybe he is afraid of force negation, but no. Boom. Breachy time.
So the One Ring will prevent Emrakul from dealing any damage, but the Annihilator will take care of every one of Ryan's permanents.
6 of them. Now the question is, are they going to the graveyard or are they shuffling back into the deck, Ryan? Okay. Well, we're going to shuffle Ingle's graveyard into the deck thanks to the trigger on Emrakul. Once it goes to the graveyard, that 15 damage was prevented by the One Ring. And now Ryan has to think, what am I going to do tonight? You know, what are we still doing playing this game?
Hey, he can still win this.
I have lost plenty of games after going through the breach.
Now he can. Oh, okay.
Oh, now he draws the fortification. One turn too late. Who's the land destruction deck now, Ryan?
There's another Emrakul drawn for Engel. He's just a little light on mana.
Oh, here's the okay. This is the beginning of the most epic comeback
Leaves it on top.
of all time.
Okay, and then this is the end of the most epic comeback of all time.
This is just a song about the most epic comeback of all time.
Yes.
This is not the most epic comeback of all time.
Just a tribute.
Okie dokie. We find a Flooded Strand, and we can fetch it. Oh, and we can blow up a land. It's been a while.
Are there 3 lands that can produce colorless here?
Yeah. Grove of the Burn Willows, Eldrazi Temple, and the Urgot.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. Urgonaut, or
Abstergo Entertainment.
Obsplurger goes. Draw 2. Ring draws 2. That's a 4/4 flyer. That's a big old dragon.
If Ryan can draw another one of those, he might have something going.
Emrakul goes underneath Ugin's Labyrinth. Now it taps for 2 mana. We're going to play 3. Oh, here's just Through the Breach. Another Emrakul. And that's going to do it.
Well, Ryan's at 16, so he's going to go to 1.
Okay, he's going to keep playing again.
Lose all his permanents for a second time.
Just when he had me, I was coming right back in it. And he packs it in, he gives up, taps the mat. Ryan Hayes defeated. Josh Ingle moves to the finals and is 2-0.